Ashley Nicole Phillips. I love to cook. I'm not professionally trained by any means. Since I was a kid, I would move out around the kitchen, and I now understand that I was cooking intuitively. I was cooking through my intuition, being guided by the Holy Spirit, or what I like to say, my ancestors, moving around the kitchen and putting things together to make delicious eateries, delicious meals, delicious snacks, delicious food. Subscribe to Magic Meals with Ashley Nicole Phillips to join my culinary journey and to, just have fun. Enjoy yourself. Be your authentic self with me as I journey my way around the kitchen. Today, we are going to be making apple fritters. Now, these are one of my favorites. When I was a kid, when I was younger, my mom would take me and my sisters to a bakery. I would get an apple fritter and like a Long John. I'm still thick. I used to be thicker, but you can tell by the choices. I get an apple fritter and a Long John. It's the fall season. This is my first fall creation for Magic Meals with Ashley Nicole Phillips. I'm so excited. Let's get cooking. All right, I know y'all want to see my beautiful face. This is the setup we have now because I really want y'all to be able to see what we got going on, right? So this is what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna be mise en place cooking. The French term mise en place is where you have everything prepared before you cook. So like, on Food Network, where they have all of the ingredients in little bowls, little clear bowls, and they just throw everything in the bowl and, show you, how to put the recipe together. That would be a mise en place, cooking method. So that's what we're about to do. But y'all are gonna get behind the scenes with my mise en place. I'm preparing my mise en place. So I have a gala apple here. So this is our apple fritter recipe. We have a gala apple. You can use whatever apple you have in your refrigerator or just whatever you prefer. I have a gala apple. I peeled it. We're about to chop it up, dice it up into nice sizes for our apple fritter. We're gonna use this knife because it's very satisfying to cut with. Please don't use my chopping methods. Like I'm not a professional. Do not use my chopping methods. Do whatever you feel safe doing. Cut your food like that, right? Don't copy me, please. Please. All right, so we're chopping up the apple. Huge batch, but I'll just use that. I'm gonna use a whole apple. I'll use a whole apple. I was gonna save some apple and just eat it because I'm gonna eat off this core later. I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna nibble off this in a second. I'm gonna put that to the side. I'm not even gonna lie to you. All right, and then we're gonna dice up our apple. You wanna try to get as even of pieces as possible so the apples cook evenly. I want a little crunch on my apple still, right? So when I caramelize these apples, I'm going to, we'll see. I want a little bit of crunch in the apple, a little freshness in the apple. So when we caramelize it, we're not gonna cook it super soft, cook the apple super soft. But let's get our dice on. It's so weird, like my potatoes. Well, I don't think it's weird. But I don't think it's weird. But my potatoes, any potato that I eat, I like it like super soft. Like when I'm eating home fries for breakfast, I like them to be cooked all the way through, right? Like I don't like my potato to crunch at all. And these apples, I want a little crunch. I want a little fresh snap in there. So we'll do that. And you know what motivated me to cook this? It was really an intuitive download. I have a spiritual podcast. If you're interested in spirituality, Kingdom Things Podcast is available on YouTube and Spotify. I channel energies from spirit, energies and messages. And my intention behind channeling the energies and messages is to assist with the upliftment of the human consciousness. So when you hear me talking about my ancestors, my intuition and channeling and getting intuitive downloads, it's very much so spiritually aligned for myself. Whatever you practice when it comes to spirituality or whatever you don't practice, I respect it all because I understand everything in our reality has a place and a purpose. So how did I, think to do the apple fritter? Honestly, it was an intuitive download to do the apple fritter because I've been wanting to do, I was wanting to do a fall inspired video for Magic Meals with Ashley Nicole Phillips. I'm going to do a fall feast. And while I'm preparing that, I was like, let me do this apple fritter. Let me do this apple fritter recipe. Now, a puff puff is a fried fritter, like a fried donut, and it is an African delicacy, an African recipe. Puff puff. I made puff puff, right? I made puff puff. So basically, my apple fritter, I'm not about to measure this out. I would normally say when it comes to like pastries and baking and things like that, measure it out. And I'm going to when I do things down the line, but I'm not going to measure my puff puff, right? I'm gonna do it all by intuition, all by intuitive guidance, right? Add things into the bowl until the ancestors say no more. Add it into the bowl until the ancestors say no more. So basically, my apple fritter is a play off of the puff puff, my intuitively guided recipe of puff puff, and then I'm gonna add my caramelized apple inside of the puff puff. Inside of the puff puff mix, right? These apples are kind of bigger than these, but that's okay. That's perfectly fine. They're delicious. Okay. I don't think we're gonna use all these apples. That's okay. All right. So we have our apples. Let's put it in place. Mise en place. Let's put it in place. All right, y'all. Mise en place, s'il vous plaît. So we have our ingredients for our caramelized apples that are gonna go into our puff puff / apple fritter deliciousness. So we have cinnamon, ground cinnamon of your choice. Whatever you have in your pantry or your spice cabinet. Ground cinnamon, again, the apple of your choice. Diced up, brown sugar, and some water. Let's go ahead and take it over to the stove to go ahead and get this percolating. All right, so on the back burner, I have my oil that will fry our fritters in later. Front pan, that's what we're focused on right now. We're gonna go ahead and do our caramelized apple that will go into our puff puff apple fritter pastry concoction. Just a little bit of water in the pan. Put my water in my teacup because I just thought it was so cute. Put a little bit of water in the pan. That is enough. Just a little bit of water in the pan. Our water in the pan that's steaming. We're gonna go ahead and add our apples now. We're gonna add our apples to the pan. Get our apples nice and blanched. Blanch our apples. Now, it's all about what you feel. Like just let your soul guide you. Let your heart guide you. No pressure. Relax. Meditate over the pan. Enjoy the aromas. This apple smells like fall. I don't know about y'all, but fall is one of my favorite seasons. I love all the seasons, but fall just be hitting with that perfect, temperature, mild but cool. I'm in Texas, so, when we get some cool weather in the fall, it's like heaven raining down on us. So we're blanching our apples in the pan. We're gonna go ahead and turn our temperature up, low to medium heat, right? Low to medium heat. We turn the temperature up to get our apples blanched. Let's see here. All right. Now we want a little crunch. Well, I want a little crunch. Like if you don't want a crunch on your apple, just keep blanching them a little. Keep cooking the apple a little bit more. If you don't want a crunch, but I want a crunch on my apple, so I'm gonna go ahead and get my brown sugar added. So we're gonna add the brown sugar in the pan. I'm being guided to add just a little bit more water, so we're gonna do that. Add a little bit more water. Alright, so we're gonna start getting this mixed together. And it smells absolutely delicious. Absolutely. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get my cinnamon added in the pan too. I'm gonna add some cinnamon and a little bit of nutmeg. Why not? Why not? So if I can find it in this cabinet, we're gonna add the nutmeg. You hear me? You heard me? Alright, so we're getting this. Now, I really hope it thickens up like I want it to, right? Hope it gets nice and thick, nice and thick, nice and thick. All right, so we'll get our cinnamon, get that added to the pan. Let me take this out. Cinnamon. Nice and liberal with the cinnamon. Nice and liberal with the cinnamon. Let me see if I have nutmeg. Pretty sure I do. Not sure. Not sure, but pretty sure. It smells so good. Whoa. Whoa. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my heat down a little bit to low, a little bit closer to low. I don't want my sugar to burn, but I still want it to kind of thicken up. So turn down the heat on the lower end. All right, let me look for my nutmeg. I'll be right back. Actually, I'll be right behind you. I'll be right behind you. All right, no nutmeg on hand, but that is fine. It's not gonna stop this show. Not today anyways. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get this mixed all together. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put a lid on it. Go ahead and put a lid on it and just turn off the heat and let it sit. And hopefully I don't want to call it a sauce. Hopefully the brown sugar sauce thickens up. If not, like, okay, it was meant to be that way. So we're not even trip about it. We're not even gonna worry our pretty little hearts about it. We're not gonna worry our pretty big hearts about it. So there we go. So we have that. I'm gonna put a lid on it, and then we're gonna go back to the other counter and go ahead and mix up our our fritter. So putting our lid, and let's go to the other counter. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get started on our fritter mixture. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Yes. I do have the sifter. Okay, so we're gonna get started on our fritter mixture. We're gonna start by getting flour and putting it through the sifter, just so we can have a beautifully smooth fritter batter. Now, you know, again, it all just depends on how much you wanna make, how many fritters you wanna make, and how big you wanna make them, like how many people you're trying to feed. And when it comes to how much flour you use, again, I go by the for this recipe, we going by the So it's just whatever you want to make, how much you by the whatever you want to make, and whoever you're making it for, just kind of roughly guesstimate, you know, how you're gonna how much flour you use. But it's like let's say this is the flour we're using. We're gonna use. I was gonna do like parts, 2 part this, 1 part that. We're not even gonna do that. Y'all just watch and look. And just follow with your eye, follow with your spirit, follow with your eye, follow with your spirit. Again, it's intuitive cooking, so it's just however you feel guided to do it. So we sifted our beautiful flour. We're gonna go ahead and add our sugar. Now I have pure cane sugar, and I'm gonna add quite a bit because of how I get my rise and my puff. I don't use yeast, right? I don't use yeast because I don't have it right now. So if I had yeast, I would use yeast, maybe. This way is so much easier, so I just do it like this. So I have my flour, my sugar, and I have baking soda. So I use baking soda. So I'm using all this baking soda for my rise and my puff to make the puff and the puff. So I need it to be sweet. So I use quite a bit of sugar, not too much, not too crazy. So I have my baking soda, and then I have let's go ahead and put the vanilla extract in here first. I went into the cabinet thinking I was I went into the cabinet. I was intuitively guided, right? Thinking I was gonna get nutmeg. Knowing good and gosh darn well I don't have nutmeg, but instead I was guided to get this, get some vanilla extract, to put some vanilla extract in our fritter batter. I didn't even think to do that today. I usually do. Sometimes I do lemon too, you know, whatever extract I have. But today we're gonna do vanilla. So we're gonna put a little bit of vanilla in here. Vanilla extract, because that's what we have on hand. If you have almond, by all means use the almond. If you have poppy seed, by all means use the poppy seed extract. You know, it's whatever you have in your cabinet, whatever you want to taste in your fritter batter. So we have some vanilla extract. Now we're gonna go ahead. Let me go get my the tool. I'll use my spatula. I'm gonna use the same spatula we use for our caramelized apples. So look, we're gonna go ahead and add our vinegar. So we're adding vinegar to the mix. It's quite a bit. Again, we did the sugar. a lot of sugar, and then in our caramelized apple mix, it's brown sugar too. So it's gonna help balance out the tartness or the bitterness in the puff puff element, which is our baking soda and our vinegar as the puff puff element. So we're gonna stir that in, and now we're gonna add a little bit of water, right? We're gonna add water just a little bit at a time. I want the batter to be kind of thick since we're adding these apples. I need something to hold the apple, so the batter needs to be kind of thick. Normally I'll do a thinner batter, but we're adding fruit, so that the batter needs to be a little bit thicker. I think that's gonna be enough water. We'll see. Let's mix and figure it out and find out. All right, so we're mixing this all together and we're breathing. All right, so we're mixing it all together. We have a lunar event coming. It's like a new moon or something. And I'm super sensitive to energies, so I can feel it coming in. So, you know, I have to breathe. Make sure I breathe. Make sure I remember to breathe. So we're breathing and we're mixing. We're breathing and we're mixing. We're gonna add just a tad bit more water, right? A tad bit more water. All right, that looks like it's gonna work. So a tad bit more water. And while, give me a second. Let me go turn our oil on so we can go ahead and switch it up. Start frying as soon as we get this mixed together. All right, so we're mixing this all together. Mix. We don't want to overmix it. And I learned about not overmixing on making pancakes when I was a kid. When I was a kid making pancakes, on the box it'd be like, don't overmix the batter because the pancake will be tough. So we don't want to overmix. I think that's really good right there. That's good right there. Let's go ahead and add our caramelized apples in here, y'all. Let's get the caramelized apples in here. This smells so delicious. Like, ooh, get into it. Smell-o-vision, I feel like we're about a century late. Like, we should have had smell-o-vision a long time ago. We should have had smell-o-vision a long time ago. This smells so good. But when you make it, make sure you enjoy the aroma. All right, so we're adding our apples in here. I'll use this spoon to kind of get the apples, the straggling apples. I think I'm gonna make it a thing where when I do the long videos, because you know I have the 60 seconds. So if you go in the shorts, Magic Meals with Nicole Phillips, the shorts, I have the recipes in 60 seconds, intuitive meals in 60 seconds. I think in the long episodes where we chill together and we cook together and use our intuition and flex our intuitive muscle on these long videos, I think I'm gonna do where we like learn something new from cultures from somewhere. So today is French mise en plus, and tomorrow or next time it'll be something else. Make it more dynamic. I know I love to learn, so I hope y'all enjoy the extra homework that I did, the whole one Google search I did to remember what the heck mise en place was, because I read an article about French culinary terms, and it was like when you prepare everything before you cook, mise en place. So mise en place, our French term for our apple fritters, ode to the puff puff. Really an ode to the puff puff. All right, y'all, this is kind of thick. I'm gonna get a little bit more flour because it's kind of thin. I'm gonna get a little bit more flour. Give me 1 second. 1 second, y'all. A little bit more flour. It's a little too thin. It's a little too thin for my liking. All right, y'all. So we're gonna sift in a little bit more flour just to thicken it up a little bit. We might not use all of this, but let's just see how it goes. Sift in some more flour. Just want to thicken it up a bit. Again, I want the puff pastry, the fritter pastry, to really hold the apple. So we're thickening it up just a little bit more. All right. It smells so good. I'm the only one eating this. That's why I put my face in it like that. I'm gonna be the only one eating these. I don't need any comments like, oh, she put her nose in it. I'm the only one that's gonna eat these. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done that. You know. But if I did, that'd be my business. That'd be my business. Whoa. Okay. Cool. Yeah, we want it a little bit thicker. I do want it a little bit thicker. Again, to hold the apples. We're gonna use all this flour. We're just gonna use all of it. Go ahead, use all of it. This is really nice. Like just cooking, like slowing down and cooking, slow it down and cooking. From scratch. And like, it's not that hard. It's not that hard cooking from scratch, right? But we just make it so big. Like, can you cook? No, girl, I can't cook. Like, it's like, it's really not that. It's really not that difficult. But we work things up in our mind to be more difficult than it actually is. That's why this channel is near and dear to my heart, because I learned how to cook from my mom, my grandpa, but also just, you know, following my intuition in the kitchen, right? So I want to encourage people that, you know, are afraid to get in the kitchen because they're afraid of what they'll cook, or afraid of messing something up, or afraid that they're not a good cook, or don't think their food tastes good. Don't be afraid to get in the kitchen and try things, right? Just follow your heart and try some stuff, right? This is actually perfect. I think this is definitely gonna work. This consistency. My answer is like, you sure? Yeah, let's go with it. Let's rock with it. Hey, why not? It's intuitive cooking, y'all. Like, I don't want to say if we fail, but if we could do better, we could do better together. Let's head to the stove. All right, y'all, so we're over at the stove, and we have our puff mixture with our caramelized apples, or our apple fritters. Our oil is definitely hot enough. I have the heat on low, right? Have it on low. We'll see if we need to raise the temperature, but it feels like it's hot enough. All right, so let's go ahead and first batch. Whoa, we're doing it, guys, we're doing it. Mind you, this is my first time making this recipe, so we're learning it together. All right, I'm gonna turn up the temperature just a tad bit to low, medium to low heat. Actually, it's like on the 2, so it's like low. We're gonna turn it up a little bit. I'm just gonna cook one, and we're gonna see how it goes, and then we'll, you know, see what we gauge the temperature. So let's see what we do, guys. Let's see what happens. I have this perforated spoon. A perforated spoon. Like, you can use whatever you want to turn over your fritter. We're gonna let it cook a little bit longer. Let's see, I'll time it. Some type of measurement in here. I'm thinking like 2 to 3 minutes on each side is what I'm thinking. But again, just gauge it with your intuition and what it's looking like on your stove. So let's see here. Let's give it another minute. I don't want to have to pry it from the pan. See if it lifts, if it cooks a little bit longer. And you can use whatever oil you have on hand to fry your fritter in. All right, we're gonna go ahead and turn it over. Yay, it's so pretty, y'all. Well, I can't wait to take it out of the pan and show y'all. It's so pretty. All right, we're gonna go ahead and add more in there. Go ahead and add some more batter in there and get the fritter going. This is really cool. I'm super excited for this. Y'all have no idea. Y'all have no idea how excited I am for this. A little too zealous and like prying at it instead of letting it just do its thing. That's okay. That's all right. So let's let that cook a little bit longer. Actually, I think this one's done. This one's definitely done. It's just a lot heavier than I'm used to because normally, again, I cook my puff or fritter. I've never cooked it with fruit. So this is different for me. So I'm excited. So look guys. Look at the fritter, puff fritter. I have a napkin that I'm gonna plate and a napkin that I'm gonna set our cooked fritters on. And then when we're done, we will taste. The official taste test. I have some fresh apples and cinnamon on top. These are really tasty. These are really tasty. I hope you enjoyed this cooking with me, Magic Meals with Ashley Nicole Phillips. I hope you enjoy your own rendition of apple fritters on the fly, fall apple fritters on the fly. Again, my name is Ashley Nicole Phillips. I am not only a home cook, but I'm also a singer-songwriter. I love creating music, and you can find my music as well as my blogs and other music content on my YouTube channel, Ashley Nicole Music, here on YouTube, as well as Kingdom Things Podcast here on YouTube and Spotify if you are interested in all things spirituality, all things mysticism. Taking the mystique out of mysticism is what I like to say. If you're interested in channeling, divine channeling, my podcast, Kingdom Things Podcast, is available on YouTube as well as Spotify. I'm also an author. I love writing. I channeled a story about a teenage girl growing up in the New York City foster care system. Her name is Asia. Asia's story is available in the Amazon bookstore, which you'll find a link to Asia's story, a 2-part series in the posting of the description of this video. Coming Home, the story of Asia is followed by the story of Asia, I'm Home. Asia is a 16-year-old girl growing up in the New York City foster care system. She's catalyzed onto her spiritual awakening journey with meeting her twin flame in the hallway of her school, Manhattan Prep. She finds out that she's a starseed. She gets kidnapped by her twin flame's dad's goons. She ends up homeless, but she finds a home with other people much like herself that help her cultivate her own inner self-love and own inner sanctuary and power. To tap into my literature, you can purchase my books. Again, the links are in the description of this video. You can also subscribe to AP Short Stories here on YouTube, where I post animated clips and the animated series that goes along with Asia's story. I love you. Love on yourself. Thank you for dropping in to Magic Meals with Ashley Nicole Phillips. Again, come back and tell me how your fall fritters on the fly work out for you. Bye, y'all.